Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Scotty Hobbs. I'm here in Idaho Falls. If you guys don't know who I am yet, I'll briefly tell you my story, and then I want to get right to this because I was chatting with Brittany, and I was going to talk about purpose, and I'll touch on that just a little bit, purpose and vision, but I wanted to take it a little bit deeper with you guys, so this is going to be a little bit longer than I originally expected. So when you guys hop on, let me know that I'm here. My love language is words of affirmation, so send up a heart or whatever so I can know somebody's on here listening with me. But I have been married for 13 years to my beautiful wife, Gabby. Interesting fact, we met at Warped Tour in 2005. She was a promoter for a venue, and I was a bass player for a hardcore screamo band. I know it's probably hard to imagine that right now because the piercings are out and all of that stuff. But our life started like that 14 years ago. We got married 13 years ago. We had our first daughter a few months later, and she's now 13 years old. We now have 5 total kids for a total of the age ranges are from the youngest being 4 and the oldest being 13. So we're super busy, but I feel super blessed because I've had the opportunity to be a full-time stay-at-home dad / part-time coach now for 7.5, it'll be 8 years this summer that I've been a stay-at-home dad because of this business. So I want to help you guys really understand a little bit purpose and give you guys a bigger vision for your life, as I'm one of the more older coaches in the company. I started out by being introduced to P90X by a neighbor. And at the time, I didn't have really many local friends because I was working 12 hours a day, every day from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. I had, at the time, 2 daughters, my oldest, Keena and Mila, and I went to work at 5 a.m., got home at 5 p.m. My wife would take the 2 girls to the next door neighbor, and she would leave for work just before 3 o'clock, and she would work the night shift at the Hilton Garden Inn. So she would drop the kids off. When I got home at a little after 5, I would pick them up. So the kids were at the babysitter for about 2 hours a day. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that is not the life that I imagined and envisioned for my life when I thought about myself as a provider. I thought I would have a great job, make enough income, working 8 hours a day that I could provide for my family. But we were forced to work overtime, 12-hour days, and every Saturday, and have my wife work at night, and that was to barely live paycheck to paycheck. So that's how we were living. I meet this guy. He comes to my house. He was actually from our church, and he was trying to bring Gabby and I back to church, and he was just jacked. He had these biceps that were popping out of his shirt, and I was fat and lazy. And I was like, dude, how do you look like that? And it just turns out he had a plate of brownies, so I let him in, and we just started this conversation. And he's like, I train the high school football team, strength coach, and then the special teams coach. And if you want, he's like, I'd be happy to help you out. You can come work out, train with us. And I'm like, cool, I need help. Tell me when and where, and I will be there. This was in 2010. It turns out they trained at 6 a.m. I had to be at work at 5, so I said, I can't come. Is there anything else that I could do? And he said, you should do that P90X workout. So a little bit about me, when I decide to do something, I go all in. So I committed to P90X. I printed out the meal plan, the nutrition guide for P90X. I went all in, and in 90 days, I lost 38 pounds. What happened? I had abs for the very first time. I'm like 28, almost 29 years old. I get these abs. I have this new confidence. And all I can do is talk about P90X and insanity. Everybody's like, dude, you lost all this weight, which was, remind me, not a huge amount, but 38 pounds. And I was jogging on my lunch break, which was like unheard of. And people are like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing P90X, you should do it. And I fell in love with just that, telling people, this is what I'm doing, you should do it. Try P90X, go get insanity. And I fell in love with that process. And it turns out that I put my P90X pictures in the P90X like page, and it turned into a Shark Tank where about 30 different coaches sent me scripts recruiting me to their teams. And I was like, I hate this. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I will never be a part of something like that. I will never be a part of coaching. And it's funny to look back at my Facebook because I remember saying on Facebook, I saw it in my memories that pop up, if any of these coaches could actually convince me to be a coach, I would crush it. And there's a couple things I want to share with you guys about that. Number one, I was so committed against doing it. So because I didn't want to be that type of person that sent me that message. And then also on the other hand, I knew that when I commit to something, I will do everything I can to be successful at it. So all these coaches asked me, I said no, but I'm curious, right? Because I'm working 12-hour days and it's not the life that I imagined. So I'm researching, I'm on Google, I'm watching YouTube videos, and I watched Lindsay Matway's video talking about her losing 30 pounds with P90X and her leaving bartending to take care of her daughter, London, who was born prematurely. And she talks about she was slowly paying off this debt, and I'm like, what? Slowly paying off $300,000 of debt? What? Walking away from your job by helping people with this P90X thing? And so it planted a seed in me, even though I still said no. But I did write her an email and ask some questions. And instead of sending me a script, instead of just answering it, she said, do you want to chat on the phone? And we talked on the phone during one of my breaks, and she did not try to sell me anything. She told me her story again, and she asked questions about me. Do I love my job? What 12-hour days? Why are you working? Why 12-hour days? Is it something that you love? And it really got me thinking about my life and what I wanted. And she invited me to be a coach in that moment. And I still told her no. And it turns out that I told her no for 8 more months. Every month she would come back to me, hey, you're doing exactly what I'm doing as a coach. The only thing is you're not getting paid for it. And I was like, no, it's cool. I love what you're doing. I think it's awesome the way that you're doing it. And I was inspired by the way she was doing it because it was not like those scripts that I got. And so I just continued to tell her no and no and no. And there was promotions just like we have now with discount codes and promo codes and all that. There was one month where we could sign up as a coach and have the $40 sign up fee waived. And she's like, Scotty, this month the fee's waived. You can sign up as a coach for $0. And I still have objections to Shakeology. And she's like, you don't even need to get on Shakeology yet. I just know that you would be a great coach. You should just sign up for free, not going to cost you anything, and you can work on earning that $40 back. I still told her no. And guys, because we live paycheck to paycheck, I was so scared still that I would even be able to pay that $40 back. I was afraid of the next month's $15.95 monthly fee because it just didn't fit into our budget. And then something happened. April 11th. 2011. That's the day that I signed up as a coach. And the reason that I signed up as a coach on that day is because it was about 19 days after the birth of my third daughter. My third daughter's name is Alina, and she was born, and I remember it was a few weeks afterwards. I remember I have this habit of going to our mailbox at the end. It's a little lock box. And I would go like once a week because life was busy, and I'd pick up the mail on the way to work, and during my lunch break, I would sort the bills, do my spreadsheet, do all that stuff during lunch because when I get home, I just have 2 little kids, and at the time now with 3 little kids, and one of them's a newborn by myself while my wife's at work. So I would do that stuff at lunch. And I remember seeing the doctor bill, my Blue Cross statement, the hospital bill, the anesthesiologist bill, there was an ear doctor bill. And I remember sitting there in my cubicle, like sitting back, and I felt like my cubicle was spinning around. Like I felt this heavy weight on my shoulder, and I was scared. And I left work that day, and that feeling continued. I would lay in bed, and I felt like my room was spinning around me. Like everything in my life was out of control. Like how am I going to pay this like $3,000 in hospital bills from her birth when we're barely paycheck to paycheck right now? And all those questions came like, do I have to go back to school? Do I have to get a second job? Maybe Gabby cannot work at the hotel and I can work 2 full-time jobs. Maybe I got to go back to school. All these things. And they took more time away from what was most important to us, which was our family. And then the answer came to me. Beachbody coaching. The thing that Lindsay's been talking to you about, the thing that you're passionate about. This is something that you can do on your lunch break. This is something that you can do at night when your kids go to bed and not have to worry about taking more time away from your family. So that's the day that I signed up as a coach. And that day, the reason I signed up that day is because my fear of not knowing how to take care of my family became greater than my fear of failing as a coach. And that's the day that I went all in. And it's been 106 or 107 months that I have hit Success Club 10 consistently since that date on April 11th of 2011 when I made that decision. And I think too many times people have their sign up date and they have their start date. And a lot of you guys and a lot of people are still sitting at just their sign up date and haven't actually made that solid decision, which is going to be the game changer of where it's not just like, I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to try my hardest, or I'm going to do this for a year or a couple years and see if it works. from that decision to I am going to do whatever it freaking takes to hit my goals and build this business and achieve what it is that I'm passionate about in my life. And I made that decision on April 11th. So I believe timing is everything. Maybe when I first got invited in that Shark Tank of scripts, I wasn't ready. It wasn't the right time for me. Maybe if I had signed up then, I might have done nothing for 8 months until that moment happened. Who knows? But I believe timing is everything for everyone. So maybe the time now is for you as you go through the activity that I want to do with you guys and have you guys really self-reflect and answer some questions. So I hope you have your pen and paper. If you haven't yet, go get it. But I want to tell you one other quick story before I get started, because it's going to talk a lot about purpose and vision. I believe a lot of times, like people ask all the time, how do you have the business that you have when they see some of the accolades? Sometimes I'm even like I did that? What? Like this college dropout, ex-cocaine addict musician, like built a business like that? How is that even possible? And people like ask that question, like how did you get there? Like what steps? And it comes down to truly knowing what my purpose is, having a vision for my life, and then just staying consistent and disciplined in growing myself and the people around me. And never stopping even when it gets hard, because you're going to face a lot of trials. So I don't think a lot of times it's like you have a lack of discipline or you can't stay committed to something. It's not a lack of commitment or discipline that's a problem. It's a lack of having focus on what is actually your purpose and your role as a coach. So I want to make sure that you guys understand what that is today, and maybe some of the things that might be holding you back, because it will make all of the difference. This business will completely change your life. And it's going to get super hard. I remember 8 months in, I'm still working 12-hour days. Remember, Gabby's like a single mom during the day, and I'm like a single dad at night after a 12-hour shift. You're not motivated and full of energy after 12 hours in a steel factory and then taking care of a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 6-week-old baby girl, which is how old they were when I started my business. You're not motivated to normally to sit down and do a bunch of work. You just want to rest. And my life prior to it was play Call of Duty and drink beer when that time came. So how did I switch to doing this work 7 days a week when I was tired and to build the business that we wanted? It got tiring and it got hard. And I remember 8 months in, I didn't want to quit because I decided I never wanted to quit, that I never would quit from day one. But there was a point when I was like, maybe I shouldn't do this like a business. Like I'm making a few $100s a week. Maybe I should just casually do it more as a hobby because I'm tired and stressed. So that point came, and it was about 8 months into my coaching journey for me. You might want to call it burnout. I was burnt out because I'm working 12-hour days, I'm working nights, and I'm sleeping like 4 hours a night, which is not healthy. And I got the man cold. I got the flu. The man flu, you guys know what that is, when your husbands nearly die for a week. I had it. I stayed home from work. I was sick in bed all day, and then it was like 3 days of missing work, and Gabby comes in, and she's like, Scott, maybe you ought to get up, shower, get dressed, and go pick up Kina from the school bus, because if you do that, you're going to start to feel better. You got to get up and start moving. So I do that. We live in a cul-de-sac, and so I get dressed, shower, get bundled up, and I start heading down the cul-de-sac. I'm halfway down the cul-de-sac to pick up my daughter Kina, and the school bus pulls up, and it stops at the end of our cul-de-sac. She's the only kid. It's the kindergarten half day. And I remember like it was yesterday. You guys know the sound, like the stop sign flings out, and then the sound of the door opening. And then I see these two little hands just grab the little rail to take the first step down those 3 steps on that school bus. And this little girl looks up, and it's my daughter Kina, and she looks at me, and she sees me, her daddy, who's never picked her up from the school bus before. And in that moment, I stop, and tears just stream down my face. And I don't take another step. And I see this smile come across her face, and I'm just overwhelmed with these feelings. Like, how many of these moments and days have I missed? Like, how many more will I continue to miss if I don't push through the pain and the struggle that I'm facing right now? And it was in that moment as well, because my goal when I started as a coach was to make $10,000 in a year so that my wife could leave her job at the hotel and we could sit down together at night and eat dinner together and kick a soccer ball around the front yard and take walks, because that wasn't happening. We worked these separate lives, lived these separate lives. So that was my big goal and my big dream and my vision for my life. And then this moment happened at the school bus stop where I began to ask even bigger questions, like, how many more of these moments will I miss? And it was that time when I decided, like, I'm not just going to build this business to bring my wife home from work. Like, I want to be a part of these kids' lives, and I never want to miss a moment like this again. Like, I want to go to all their school activities when they want me to. I want to go on the field trips. I want to walk them to the bus. I want to be there for them when they get home from school and be fully present. And that's the day that I decided and realized what my purpose was. My purpose was to help people. Like, I already loved helping people with these fitness programs and building this business, but I wanted to do that as my full-time job. I wanted to do that. But at that moment, it was a little bit bigger than that, where my purpose became a little bit bigger than that, and I realized a little bit more. Now, if somebody like me, that's the way I thought, and then if somebody like me, college dropout, ex-cocaine addict, alcoholic, if I could build a business with this company and these programs and products, I could teach, mentor, and inspire anybody to do that. And that I could help other parents who are spending more time paying bills and focused on their jobs, spend more time with the things that matter most to them, which is most likely their family. And so that's when my purpose became greater. So people ask all the time, how did you get to where you're at? How do you have Success Club 10 for 106 months? And it's because I know what my purpose is from that moment as a coach. And it wasn't day one of coaching. It came 8 months in during my hardest pain point. But that's what my real why and my real reason for coaching is. And what I want you guys to know is sometimes people ask, like, haven't you made like enough income and have a big enough team that you can just relax and kick back? Oh, believe me, I relaxed and kicked back. Like yesterday, I got up at 3 a.m., worked out with my best friend who's a sheriff who got off his shift early. We worked out at 4 a.m. I worked my business till 7, got the kids to school, worked from 8 to 9, and then 10 o'clock had a 90-minute massage, got a beard trim at the barber, came back, took a nap, hung out with my wife, greeted the kids when they came home, and did a getting started right call. And then, like, an ideal day, right, of this beautiful day, like, I kick back and relax. It's not a 12-hour work day, but I still work hard on the activities that build this business. And the reason that I still do that 9 years later is I don't care what our rank is, how many rock stars we have on our team, how big our income grows. I made a commitment that I would be an example that if somebody I bring onto this team does the things that I do, which are the 4 vital behaviors, and be true to your purpose as a coach, that they will be successful as well. So if they can emulate what I do, they can also be successful. So I made that commitment. So how do I hit those goals still even today and so consistently over time? Because I made a decision. I think too often coaches haven't made that concrete, resolute decision. And they're a little bit flaky on that because you only have to make a decision once. Then it comes down to managing that decision every day. Because trust me, I don't wake up every day feeling inspired to do the work that we do, but I've created, I know what my purpose is, and then I create habits, which are reading and personal development, doing my workout, drinking my shake, that put me into action on those goals. So that's my story, plus a little bit about vision and purpose and what I think it will take for you to get to the next level and build your business. But I'm going to ask you guys 10 questions. A lot of times when I'm doing this, I like to ask you guys to, if I'm like on a Zoom call, I would ask, we're going to go through 10 questions. I would ask some of you guys to share with me, and it gets a little bit emotional. I do it a lot of times at team retreats. We're not going to do that now, but what I'm going to ask of you guys is that you do answer these 10 questions. You don't have to answer them as fast as we go through them. But what I do want you to do is take the time to unplug from your social media later, maybe when the kids go to bed, and answer these questions with all of your heart and your soul, knowing that your life and future legacy depend on it. And that's for you. You're going to understand some things about yourself. But then what I want you to do is I want you to share them with your team. Share them with Brittany. Share them with your accountability partner. Share them with your Team Cup team so that they can understand you and what motivates you and how to help you get to the next level in holding you accountable to that. So here's the first question. You can start writing. I just want you to write the questions down. You can answer them later. The first one that I want you guys to answer is, what is holding me back and why? I'll repeat each one twice so we can make sure we get them written down. What is holding me back and why? And if any of you guys are, sorry, my Team Cup chat thread is going off the hook. If one of you guys is a fast typer, maybe type them in the comments of this live video as well. I'll just copy them in later. What is holding me back and why? Number 2, what are your greatest fears and why? Number 3, what motivates you to succeed and evolve as a person? So what motivates you to succeed and evolve as a person? Number 4, what are the 3 most important things that you have learned about yourself? Number 5, what lies do you continue to tell about yourself? Number 6, what do you do that keeps limiting your success? Number 6, what do you do that continues to keep limiting your success? Number 7, what are you most passionate about in your life and why? What are you most passionate about in your life and why? Number 8, what is the vision for your life? And I'm going to expand on this one just a little bit. It's kind of hard when you're just starting to like, what is the vision for my life? One way that I think will help you get on the right step for that is to expand on what is the vision for your life. Is I want you to write out in full detail what your ideal day looks like. What does your ideal day look like? And that means like, how many hours did you sleep? What time do you wake up? How do you feel when you wake up? What do you do when you first wake up? Who do you spend your time with when you first wake up? Who do you spend your time with? Like, do you get a workout in? Do you go get a massage? Do you go for a walk? Do you listen to personal development? Do you meditate? Whatever it is. And then who do you spend your time with? What activities do you do? What hobbies do you do? How do you help people? What do you do for your work? Like what do you do during the day that makes you feel good? So your ideal day, write it out in full detail from when you wake up until you go to bed. That'll help you understand kind of what the vision is for your life. What do you want your life to look like? I can tell you guys today fully that at the age of almost 39, I live my ideal life. Like, do you not worry about any doctor bills or hospital bills, or are you contributing to a charity? Are you maybe you're a nurse, maybe you don't work as a nurse anymore, but you volunteer your time as a nurse. Like, what is the vision for your life? What's your ideal life? Number 9, what limiting beliefs and stories do you hold on to that you just need to cut the strings and let them go and know that your past does not define who you are today and who you can become? What are those limiting beliefs and stories that you continue to hold on to? I'm still overcoming some of my limiting beliefs and stories. So this is going to be an ongoing thing, and these questions can be an ongoing thing that you can revisit every 6 months to a year. And then the 10th question that I want you guys to answer is, what does success mean to you? Well, what does failure mean? Because one thing I want you guys to understand, being someone that's been in this business for 9.5 years, growing a team of 45,000 coaches, is that I see people that feel extremely successful that make maybe $100 every week. Like, I remember, I'm going to tell you guys a quick story to help put into perspective sometimes. A lot of times people have these huge goals to maybe do what Brittany's done or maybe what I've done. Is I had a coach who was a doctor one time who was doing incredible, hitting Success Club every month, hitting Diamond, went to 1-star Diamond, and then all of a sudden came to me and said, after like 4 years, you know what, I'm not going to do this business anymore because it seems like I'm the only one that can build this business. So I just can't, with authenticity, share the coach opportunity anymore because people can't build this business like I do. And he had these goals of being he was a 6-figure earner, wanted to be a 6-figure earner. That was all he was focused on. And like, he just stopped building the business. He still is a coach, but stopped building the business. And so like all of these teammates that he was leading, like I started to reach out to them to see how I could help and serve them and bring them into the fold and know that they were supported. Well, one of them, I got on the phone with her, and this is to help you guys know that success means something different to everybody else. I got on the phone with her and I'm like, okay, tell me a little bit about yourself. I met her once at a Super Saturday I spoke at in Canada, but I didn't really know her. And I'm like, okay, tell me, what is success? Like, what have you accomplished? How has Beachbody changed your life? What is coaching doing for you? And I'm talking with her and she's like, you know what? These programs after I had my baby helped me lose 80 pounds and I gained this confidence in myself that I haven't ever had. So for the first time, I have this incredible confidence through doing these programs, drinking my Shakeology, reading these books. And I'm like, that's awesome. And she's like, I feel so great about that. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, tell me about your business. Like what rank are you? Do you hit Success Club? Where are you at with that? And she's like, well, she's like, I'm an Emerald coach. I fall in and out of my rank. My rank sometimes, let me get a drink real quick. I fall in and out of my rank. And she's like, you know what? She's like, I only make about $80 to $120 every single week. And I've been doing this for 4 years. And she's like, but you know what? Because of that, you know, my husband left me shortly after I had my child. Because of that $100 a month, that $400 to $500 every single month, and the child support, I have been able to stay home with my daughter and raise her even though was put into this circumstance. Whereas if I didn't have that $500, I would have to be working either a part-time job or a full-time job. So I am so grateful for the Beachbody Coaching Opportunity and for that $100 to $125 that I'm earning every week that give me the opportunity to be home with and raise my daughter. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And she was so grateful for the confidence that these programs gave her and for that income that she was building. So when I ask, what does success mean for you? It's important that you know what success means for you personally, but also as you mentor coaches, that not everybody wants what you want. Not everybody wants what Brittany wants. Not everybody wants what I want. So it's important to understand what they want and then as a coach, help them to get that. The next thing I want you guys to understand on that last question, number 10, because I kind of wrapped around there, is what does success mean to you, but also what does failure mean to you? What does it mean to fail? Guys, you saw my accolades and it shows 14-star diamond. I'm a paid 7-star diamond today. So is that a failure that I dropped half of my rank in this certain period of my life right now? No, because I define what success means for me and I define what failure means for me. And I have this quote, one of my coaches made it for me. Sorry, I'm jumping out of the screen. I have this quote, it's a Scotty Hobbs quote that one of my coaches made for me, that it says this is my definition this is what success means to me. Success is not a rank or an income. It's knowing your purpose, showing up daily, working on yourself, and planting seeds of growth in other people. So I think it's going to be very important that you understand what success means to you, but also what failure means to you. Failure means that I let life happen to me and fall into bad habits and don't take control of continuing to do the things that will grow me every single day, which are reading my personal development books, doing my workout, drinking my Shakeology, revisiting my purpose and my vision for my life and my goals, and then taking action that day. So that's what failure, if I don't do that, that's what failure would be. So as you get started on this journey of answering these questions, understanding what your purpose is as a coach, what your goals are, get really clear about those. And then the best way for me personally to judge my progress is not how fast I'm advancing in rank, how fast my volume of my team is growing, and all of that, right? Those are just metrics of a business. The way that I judge that is every night before I go to bed, I look at myself in the mirror and I say, Scotty, did you do the very best you could with I used to call it the 10 things I do every day that I created. I put a YouTube video like back 9 years ago or 8 years ago, which is basically the Success Club system tracker. I look at myself in the mirror and I say, Scotty, did you do the very best you could to do all of these activities today with full belief in yourself and focused on your purpose and your goals and your vision? If the answer is yes, I was successful that day. If the answer was no, I know that I need to do better the next day. So guys, I want to leave you guys with that. I know I went a little bit long, 30 minutes, but I want you guys to answer those questions And then I want you guys to share them inside of your team page. I want you to share it with your upline coach so they can better understand you and know what's holding you back or what your greatest desires are for your life. And you guys can work together as a team to achieve those. So guys, have a great time. And thanks for hopping on live with me today. And I just feel so blessed that we have the opportunity. I wake up every day grateful that Beachbody gave, this is like the end of the national wake up call when you talk about how Beachbody changed your life. I'm just so grateful every single day that Carl gave us this opportunity to share these programs because he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to give us 25% commissions for sharing these programs and these products. I wake up every single day grateful for the sacrifices that I made to build this business for my family. I know the impact that it will make. I have 2 sons, but I know the impact that it will make on my 3 daughters, on the men that they will choose as their husbands and who they choose to date, based on the example they see in me and the work that they see me doing on myself. They'll have a higher expectation of the type of person that they want to be around and with. And that's all thanks to this incredible company. This opportunity, being a coach, will bring out the crap in your life. You have to realize all of the crap and you have to deal with it and overcome it and become better to build this business. So love you guys. I know you guys have what it takes. You're here for a reason, and let's make sure that we take full advantage of this opportunity for you guys to grow into your fullest potential. See you guys later.